Get into the zone, I guess. Oh, what am I doing? We're back! It's NLC, baby!
He's going to jump in onto Dragdar. Dragdar loses a lot of health. A massive Magnet Storm. The Petrifying Gaze is also pretty big.
You've been waiting your whole life.
Get ready for me to smash hat-tricks when I spam gank him.
Beam, I'm coming for you. Again.
I honestly cannot wait to give Resolve a warm welcome.
PlayStation, see you on the Rift, bro.
Fury once again just getting all in. There's the Requiem. Probably going to come down. Bye-bye, Fury.
Bye.
There he goes. Here comes the Magnet Storm. He gets stunned up instantly. Advian is going to get taken out as Bean's able to find the kill. They do turn it around back on the Pride, though. It's a 1-for-1 so far as they are chasing. The Shockwave is absolutely massive by Feminine.
No time for the nonsense. No time for the nonsense.
Have I looked at the teams? No, I haven't actually. I should probably have a look at these teams and...
Fnatic's health bars are chunked and the Infernal Chains are going to pull Maxi back in. A massive Death Rocket by Deadly.
He's rolling.
He's able to find himself a double kill. He is excited. He is taking out members left, right, and center. It's going to be a triple kill for Deadly. It's going to be an
This is my time. Lay it all on the line. Game go shine. This is my time.
The NLC's back, baby. I am not beating that intro from Jamada. I could try to be as smooth as I like, but you are never beating Jamada's intro there. It was just beautiful. Guys, we're back. We're back for NLC Summer Split 2021, and I am hella excited. Now, of course, I've got Orcs and Trouble with me on the desk today. We've got loads of exciting games to kick things off, but I do need to say thank you to our sponsors, MasterCard, LGigant, and Telia, and joining the sponsor crew, KitKat, also as well. So there you go. Thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring the NLC broadcast. Right.
And congrats,
Orcs.
Alexandra, for getting them right.
I got them right.
Good job,
Yes,
good
I did.
job.
Of course, we also have our play of the day vote, which we can take a look at now. Because there haven't been any plays, you guys need to go and vote for who you think will win the summer split by using the play of the day command in chat. So make sure you use !play of the day, follow the link, and there is 650 RP going out to 20 winners today. Who do you think is going to win the NLC summer split? You know, obviously, people probably point fingers towards Excel after their European Masters performance, but we still have some strong teams. We still have a lot of strong teams in our tournament this summer, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And of course, Orcs and Trouble, you're fresh off the European Masters. You guys are fresh off kind of catching up on all of the teams and kind of seeing how it plans out. I'm going to come to you, Orcs, first, just very quickly. Give me one team that is new or a new roster that you're pretty excited for in this split.
For me, I would say Resolve. They've kept a lot of the roster from when they were playing in the UKLC. They've made some additions. We've seen a Chu returned to the Nordic League, Northern League, sorry, who's been a player we've seen quite a bit of. Always someone who'll bring out the majors in the bot lane, a pretty solid player. And honestly, I think this roster is up there. It's going to be tricky to challenge the top four. Those rosters haven't changed. We have that expectation of them, but I think Resolve are definitely a front runner to do so.
And very quickly, Trouble, which team are you excited about seeing this split?
Listen, baby. When Monk was in the mid lane, he caused havoc everywhere. When Monk went down the bot lane, he caused havoc everywhere. Well, guess what? Monk is back in the NLC, so I couldn't put my finger on anything else other than Galaxy Racer. They're coming in from the promotion series as well. They give a really good showing there. I honestly expect really huge things from Monk, and he's coming in with a really, really, really talented roster around him, so I cannot wait to see that.
And Hogmore's come back in the meta, so it's...
It's like monks like
and
literally...
if anyone knows how to use the passive better than Monk, I just don't know.
Oh, guys. Before we move on to the new season, though, let's take a look back at what happened in spring. Obviously, we had a lot of action, and it was a BTXL for the first time really ever coming out on top versus Fnatic. It's been a while since they've never been able to achieve it in their respective leagues beforehand. But BTXL were the real deal this split, Orcs.
Yeah, I mean, to have beaten Fnatic was huge. And kind of when they did that, it kind of set this tone of this roster who've done more than any previous roster has done for the organization. But then they went further and had a great run at EU Masters as well. So really, it kind of showed the strength of the NLC, but also just how good this XL roster is. It's not just the best team currently in the NLC. It's one of the best teams in the European Regional League.
I don't know, guys. You just went with some weird predictions in the final. Some of you said 3-2 for Fnatic. Some of you said 3-2 for XL. I went with a pretty clean and easy for OCD users, 3-0 for BTXL. And they actually shined like a bright light in the finals, in the NLC, in the finals at EU Masters against one of the hardest opponents that anyone had to play ever against in any EU Masters final, Command Corp. And I think that if anything, BTXL are coming in as the rock, they're coming in as the god that the other NLC teams have to beat to succeed in this particular split in the NLC.
Yeah, and I think for the first time ever, guys, we're coming into a split where it's not automatically Fnatic is the team to beat, it's XL that's the team to beat. And I think with that roster, we kind of thought that'd be the case in spring, but they proved it was the case towards the end and obviously through their European Masters performance. And everybody, honestly, after the first week that BTXL had in the European Masters, everybody said, lol, NLC, like they were really just memeing the crap out of us. But XL completely turned up, and that was a really, really awesome finals with them and Carmine Corp. I mean, Carmine Corp clearly were the tournament favorites from the very get-go, but XL made them work for the win.
I think I want to take this one step further because I have been like personally an advocate for Markoon like everywhere. Hell, I went into the NLC at the LEC and I was like, wow, Markoon is going to be the next superstar to come out of an ERL as a jungler. And the thing with BTXL in the NLC in the spring split, where they literally steamrolled through everyone and them going into EU Masters and having a really hard first week in the groups and then picking up the pace, making all the way to the finals, challenging Carmine Corp. I think there's a huge difference between them then and them now, because I've never seen Markoon fall behind his CS, his jungle path not working, his creativeness not paying off. And in EU Masters, he fell behind in levels, he fell behind in CS, his creative ganks were not working, nothing was going the way he wanted. So he clearly got challenged, and by getting challenged, you grow. So as strong as BTXL was last split, they're coming in this one after the EU Masters training, much, much stronger.
I think that's a very fair assessment. And I think, as you said, there was clearly growth from the whole team as well throughout the European Masters. But look, let's not make it just about the old teams that have been here since the start. We have a lot of new teams coming in as well. And ahead of this season, our favorite Danish little man caught up with some of the teams in anticipation of our summer split. Let's go and see what he had to say.
Welcome to the Northern League Championship Summer, where we have just come from a huge success with XL in the European Masters, where they took second. But it was not all our teams who was as fortunate to make it into the main stage of the European Masters. Oh bloody hell, Fnatic, you're never gonna get to main stage if you can't even pull off a dive!
And we have a quick comment from our friend Foxtrot.
Oi lads, it's me Foxtrot. We out here in the Scandinavian fields to tell them about all the something, and they lost a lot of games, but you know what, that's just bants in it, there's just like all these Muppet teams, you think they've got something on us, they don't, But it's not only just about the UK teams here in the NLC. We have a variety of Scandinavian teams coming in clutch with a huge potential in their talent. And speaking of talent, there's one right over there! Oh, look at that jog, look at that form. It's the hottest trend in the NLC right now. Danish bottoms. Oh my word. What a sight to behold. That is just lovely right there. You love to see it. So Dusty is originally from Iceland, but it seems like they've had an identity crisis and have now just gone full Swedish instead. Din dans du kan bara vänta dig. Jag kommer efter dig. Ja, då. Det är bra. Försvinn. For some reason with Dusty, it seems like they just keep throwing away whatever you give them. Nej! UK blessings, you know what we're all about here. It's cracking good. And with that has been some of the NLC teams I had the joy of showing you guys. I hope you'll be tuning in on this summer split to see a... Oh, LFL again? Keiko, for f***'s sake, get out of here! Oi, come over here, see what I got.
I honestly, I don't even know what to say. I specifically didn't want to watch that before the show started because I wanted it to be the first time I ever saw it, and it was absolutely worth it. It was gold dust. I'm so glad we have that man on our broadcast. He's a national, not even just national. He's a Nordic and European treasure. That man is a Northern European treasure. We need to protect him with all of our love.
I'm just impressed they managed to fly Foxtrot out with the current restrictions on travel. Yeah, just great content. Good job, Goldberg.
Yeah,
and Foxtrot
too, of course. And Foxtrot.
Yeah. Gotta give him credit as well.
Yeah. He managed to bring out his Brexit case, which I didn't think would seen the light of day for the last couple of years, but he managed to bring it back. Gonna chill now. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up today, as well as the standings that you've got too. The matches that we have 5 games. We are giving you more NLC content, guys. What more could you want? Going up from 4 to 5 games a day. Tricked versus Granit to kick things off. Galaxy versus Kova. So a lot of those newer teams are showing themselves in the first couple of games of the day. BTXL take on Resolve, a challenge for Resolve coming into this. Singularity versus Dusty, and then we'll see Fnatic Rising and play up against Riddle towards the end of the day too. This is, I think, a lot of really good matches. Are there any matches that we should really be keeping our eyes on? Anything that you think could prove a little interesting here, Trouble, over the course of these 5 games?
Absolutely. Riddle coming in with a brand new roster, facing against the Fnatic of Hope. As we saw in the last split, the Fnatic that said rebuild much stronger. I think this is going to give us a pretty clear showing of how Fnatic have progressed through, coming in with the same roster. How much have they trained in the off season? And of course, Riddle bringing in the new guys. How much can they stand against Fnatic?
Yeah. Clearly. Should we take a look at the standings? I mean, I'm not expecting the standings to tell us much, but we should take a look at the standings because in Division A, everyone is 0-0. There we go. I mean,
that's crazy.
We haven't even had
that's
a game.
Phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
There's 0-0 across the board. Take over a look at Division B. I have a sneaky feeling that we could see at least one win. No, okay, wait, it's all 0-0. Of course it is. But it's just showing you the teams divided into those 2 groups. Of course, we have that same format. We have our 2 groups playing up against each other. But Team 2 seems sorted. We have XL and Fnatic again in separate groups, just being those 2 teams that are coming in the top 2 seeds of the tournament. We, of course, as well have some predictions going into today. Not going to lie, I kind of copy-pasted Gulborg, so I hope he's not mad.
Well, why did you even admit to that? You could have just kept that to yourself, and no one would have known.
I want to give credit to Gulborg.
What happened to my head?
He guided my thoughts. Your head is just too big brain for the standings. Everyone's head is just too big brain for the standings. So
yes.
Except for Jake's because he's got a little brain, but he's on there. He's fine. He's chilling.
And Gulborg, he managed to fit the whole head in as well. Yeah.
Jake, I love you, just so you know. Right, so everyone's kind of predicting Tricks coming into that first matchup. A little bit split board across the Galaxy Racer and Kova game there. And most people going for BTXL. And I don't know why I copied Gulborgs for Riddle, but why not? I'm a Danish fan now. I'm a Danish fan. I believe in Denmark.
On it. You can't just say, I don't know why. You got to sell us on it. Why are Riddle going to beat
Denmark. And I'm not going to say the phrase that Gulborg taught me because I don't know how to say it properly, and I'll probably say it terribly, but I'll get him to teach me again before the day's out. Yeah, Denmark's my reasoning, and I hope that's good enough for you, Orcs.
Yeah, I'll take it. There was something else I wanted to mention because we talked a bit about how, we have the Group A and the Group B. With this season, it'll be a double round robin within the group, but then they'll also be playing the other group as well midway through the season. And then on top of that, the big thing is that we have one less playoff spot for each group. So before we had the top 4 from each group going to playoffs, we now only have the top 3. So things are a lot tighter and there's a lot less room to sort of pull a Nordavind and completely into the first half of the split and then just be kind of manage to bring it back at the end.
You can't do that now.
You're not going to get away with that one again. So that's the strategy from Nordavind. Probably need a rethink, but yeah.
I think, yeah, we've got the competition in this split is going to be tougher, as you said. The playoff races are going to be tighter. If you remember, around the 4th and 5th spots, even 3rd to 5th spots, were super close in terms of win-loss ratios. But now it's even closer for those top 3 spots. And also, as Orc said, one of the pieces of feedback that we had was that cross group. We wanted to see the teams play more frequently throughout the split. We are now going to get that opportunity. I believe we do one round robin, then we go to the cross group round robin, and then we go back to the round robin of Group A. So you're going to see the 2 teams play against each other, or 2 groups play against each other halfway through the split, which is going to be super cool and exciting because we didn't get that opportunity last time, Trouble, and that means we're going to see a little bit more action from 2 groups. So really, as well, we can kind of put to bed that which group is stronger, Group A or Group B, which is the discussion that we always have when we have the NLC.
I think it's very important for every team to also play against Fnatic and BTXL, as they're the big giants of each group. It's really good to have their practice against them. And also you have to think that if Fnatic and BTXL are the 2 favorites from each group and you only get 3 slots, that really puts the actual active slots that are available to 2 and 2 for each group. So from where we had 4 contestants, now there's 2 only teams that will be able to compete for these 2 slots. So it's like even smaller. There's no room for errors. There's no room for it's just the first week. It's just the first round robin. Because if you miss the mark, it's all gone.
Yeah, and like as you said, Orcs, you reiterated that it counts from the very get-go here. You really cannot actually kind of afford to make any mistakes in these opening weeks. And speaking of which, we have our games coming your way. So we're going to cut to a quick little break. When we're back, that champion select for our first game of the night should be ready to go. We are just about to jump into our first matchup of the day. I'm super excited, guys. This is essentially going to be the kickoff of the NLC Summer Split with two teams that Granit versus Tricked as well. It is kind of a test to some of these new rosters. You can see that Granit Gaming have essentially completely revamped their roster over coming into this split. Whereas you see a little bit of a switch up here for Tricked as well. Taxa has made his way back into our league, playing in the jungle. We've got Poulsen, then Voxnay, some familiar faces on the Tricked lineup. A roster that does have some potential, I think. And I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't seen as much of Granit Gaming, and I think they're going to be a bit of a wild card coming into our split.
Yeah, I think for me, Tricked, for a lot of people coming in as favorites for this one. I think we've seen Poulsen obviously staying on the roster, retaining that spot. The Voxnay has been a big talking point in the UKLC for London. A lot of solid play coming out from him. Pretty consistent as AD carry. And then obviously Taxa, a pretty solid run in EU Masters in story, having been on the XL roster. But Granit Gaming, there isn't as much of that reputation for them. If I had to hone in on someone, I think Babro is someone who had a really solid run in the Telia Masters. And really, if we're going to see strength coming out of Granit, I'm looking towards the bot lane.
We'll see the bans already starting off. Skarner here taking away Kaiser, banned immediately. Pretty popular, obviously, in the ban phase right now. Let's see. Obviously, we're playing on 11.10, I believe. I think we have Viego and Gwen enabled for this tournament. If we actually see any play, I'm not sure. But yeah, both those champions are available and ready to go.
I was about to say, the interesting thing is that the jungle has not been changed yet, because the changes come in on 11.11, where the camps take longer to spawn, and then all the tanky junglers come in and whatnot. And I feel like Taxer is just such a facilitator jungler in general, in which every team he has played for. I know a lot of people know him for his Lee Sin, but in my personal opinion, where he shined the most in when he's played the types of Skarners that he banned, the type of Sejuani, the type of Zax, where he plays this big tank and he's the big beef front line, whilst facilitating and ganking for his lane. And the Seraphim ban right here is a little bit surprising, but again, you will see that in a lot of screams and a lot of behind the scenes, because 11.11 is going to hit very soon. Seraphim is coming back into play because he received the buff. Moonstone also receives a buff in 11.11 as well. So just slowly but surely creeping into the meta, and people have caught up to it from 11.10.
Going to see the Gwen ban, the Tristana ban, and the Thresh ban, which means first pick now on the cards here for Tricked. Orcs, anything that's standing out to you right now?
I think you have a lot of options in this situation. I think, honestly, the Lee Sin could be decent here, as it ends up being a triple flex. So you don't really have to commit too much on that one. But it looks like they're considering AD carry pickup, just with Kai'Sa and Tristana already banned out. And with Varus picked up, another one of the big ones that we saw at MSI, does kind of restrict the pool for Babro, but he is just going to pick up the Jinx. So a lot of scaling, but could have some trouble in the mid game, particularly if this Varus does end up going for the more poke heavy build. You won't really hold up till you get to that sort of 3-item point.
So I've been a big advocate, let's say, when it comes to Varus. I absolutely love seeing the Varus, but only when it comes to lethality. I'm like, if you go on hit, there's so many other champions that are so much better on hit than Varus will ever be. And seeing that the Jinx was picked against it, I think it's literally a one-way street to go for that lethality. If the Udyr gets locked in here, again, Dan mentioned as well, this is a matchup that we saw in MSI getting picked a lot. These junglers basically are pretty much doing the same thing. They want to farm and they want to gank. And one correction from what I said previously in 11.10, the jungle changes have come in. The camps do spawn a little bit later, which means that gives the junglers a little bit more time in the game to get some ganks in, to get more vision, to facilitate for their lanes, to try and get them ahead, to pull some summoners for the fights.
The Lee Sin top, which has been obviously popularized through MSI. Or mid, yeah, that's true. No, agree. I mean, obviously I think it saw a little bit more play top at MSI, but I think, as you said, to kind of flex between all of those positions. I wouldn't be too surprised to potentially see a Zoe picked up. We saw the Varus Zoe combo a load during MSI as well, just for that heavy poke damage, like you said, would line up with that lethality that we saw as well. We'll see how Granit choose to round out this first pick phase, though. The Jinx, the Karma comes through. Can be flexible, of course. So there is a bit of flex in that pick, but there we go.
The trick here with the Rumble is the fact that yes, he is an AP jungler, and usually you want to pair an AP jungler with an AD mid laner. But due to the nature of the E from Rumble, when he hits the harpoon, it reduces your magic resist. It is just such a sick combo to combine him together with a very strong AP mid laner as well. So this pretty much gives the idea to Trick that yes, they want to play AD in the top side, potentially go with something like a Bruiser, like a Renekton, like an Aatrox towards the side of the map, like a Camille, and then put something AP based in the mid lane. And you see that Trick have picked up on this instantly and will just get rid of the Renekton.
I think as well, it still offers some flexibility. I have seen a little bit of Karma into Lee Sin, just from the fact that with the range advantage and the fact that Karma is pretty hard to take down with the shield and the Mantra W given the heal, you can essentially farm pretty safely, and you have a lot of scaling elements to the side of Granit already, which gives them that sort of aspect. It can also just go down the support lane if the side of Trick picks something too passive. So a lot of flexibility still. The Rumble technically is still a flex pick as well. It's only with the Jinx that's committed. It does look like Trick to banning away some of the top laners. It does suggest that maybe they are looking to commit that Lee Sin to top lane and want to give him a good a lane as possible, or at bare minimum force that Karma to match it. There aren't any other answers with Granit, but I still think there's a lot open. I still think they can be comfortable. I think they'll probably leave their support until last pick just to secure a good lane for the Jinx. So I expect them to commit here to where the Karma's going, to a degree at least, and probably pick up that top laner.
That'll be the Urgot, as you said, Dan. They have also banned away 2 relatively good, hard engaged supports. So maybe thinking about that option of a potential Enchanter to back Jinx up in the bot lane. Let's see where Trick choose to round out, though. They definitely got a comp that wants to take over the game very early on here, especially if you're going down the Lethality Varus route. You don't really want to test this Jinx in the late game, so you're looking to take over as much as you can in the mid game here with the Lee Sin especially. But we'll wait to see. I mean, this is screaming like we need to stomp, and we need to stomp quickly. Looks like, I mean, if it's a Lulu, obviously that would hint more towards like an on-hit Varus build, but we'll see what they choose to go with. The Trouble desperate to jump in, so I'm gonna let you take over.
One of the big LPL specials has been the Varus Tahm Kench down the bot lane, and Tahm Kench has not been banned, and it's usually in China used as a tower diving tool. It's not so much a defensive tool. So if you want to get on the Jinx, if you want to try to dive them, you usually pick something like the Tahm Kench or another heavy engaged champion that's extremely slippery, such as the Rakan. Rakan technically really suffers against a Nautilus, a Leona, but very kindly, Granit have banned those out themselves.
I think
like Braum could be. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry.
I think as well in this position, it's a pretty safe lane. It does okay into a lot of the sort of melee engaged sports left open. It's better into enchanters than something that's a bit more passive like a Braum. And the main thing is you have a lot of engaged potential from your bot lane, whereas the top side of the map is very much that early strength. You have the Udyr, the Lucian, and that Lee Sin. There's a lot of pressure there, and then leading into the later stages, you have that engaged potentially look for this backline, but you're pretty heavy AD in this composition. Potentially see the Varus actually go AP. I have seen it occasionally, because otherwise you're going to be lacking a bit.
Well, I feel like either way, Tricked have got a comp, as we previously said, that needs to kind of accelerate and take over. Like I don't think you can test Granit in the late game. I think you just auto lose. Like if it gets to a certain point in the game where you're getting like 3-item Jinxes, 3-item Orianas, and you're on even footing, you're probably going to lose a lot of those team fights, especially if you've got the likes of like Urgot, who's able to pick up a very beefy front line, a lot of armor, especially because you said a very AD heavy team, and that like insane shielding that you're going to get in the team fights from the Karma as well. So, for Tricked here, Trouble, it feels like they need to establish their dominance as what is supposed to be the superior team coming into this first game.
What is that? But also Granit do not have a go button. They don't have a trigger. They have 0 engage. They have no one to give the ball to. Like Urgot's gonna have to pull a really big card out of his sleeve to try and pull in a flank probably later on, then give the ball to the flanker and try to get a shockwave in. Sure, it's not gonna be easy for them to walk through choke points with the ball and the equalizer, but then after that, you just don't have a go button. So Tricked are more than able to snowball the early game with their heavy engage.
Yeah, they've definitely got the options of the Lee Sin as well, and like you said, the Varus engage as well. So lots of options for them to use. Now, you saw him earlier. Giving that beautiful interview and also meeting Foxdrop on a pier for some reason. But he will be casting our first game alongside the beautiful, extremely galaxy-sized brain caster, Hip Brain. Let's hand it over to them.
Let's not get carried away, scoundrel. It ain't that big. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the summer split of the NLC. My name, of course, is Hitbrain, and I'm joined by the ever gorgeous Gulborg. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
I mean, I had to watch through that content piece once again, and it was absolutely atrocious. That was the dumbest idea I ever had.
No, it was the best idea you ever had, man. Honestly, it was so good. I'm so glad we ran it. Look at you. It's the best thing. The best thing about it as well is that you're now redder than my t-shirt. It really eats at you. I love it. I love it. But anyway, let's focus on our first game. They're obviously in Group A of our two groups. We got Granit versus Tricked to start us off. Heard a few things from the desk on their thoughts on these comps. I'd like to get your thoughts, Gulborg. What are you making of both of these team comps?
I mean, Trick just went and fully was like, you know what? We don't want AP on our team. The only way that you're going to get any AP damage in your composition right now is you full on decide that this virus will be going to Dark Ability Power Tech, where you just one-shot them with your AP damage after hitting that ultimate. Outside of that, they're full AD. And that is what's making it so scary. Already, you don't have the scaling compared to the champions on Granit Gaming. But now you also have to face the fact that the later you get into the game, the more likely it is that Granit Gaming will have picked up armor, and it's just going to make this even harder for you. So I really don't expect Granit to be wanting to do much in the early game. You just need to keep the lane steady. You just need to make sure you have the track on Taxa, because he's going to be pivotal in getting them ahead in the early game. If he's not able to do that, if they're able to slow the pace down, they should just go over to Granit Gaming. Unless
Denvoxney does go for Jamada's religion, which is the AP Varus. I don't know if he'll do that. I don't think he's going to go down that road. I think it's going to be more down this lethality route, which we've seen more and more as of late. But
I will say, I had the same conversation with him about it, and he full on just booted up Practice Tool, and he was like, look at this, Goldberg, on 2 or 3 items. I can't remember specifically what he showed me.
It's Manamune.
Like, this one shot.
I think you go out and comment though, but I think it's Manamune, Horizon Focus, and I can't remember the third item in the build. But I know they're like the 2 of the big ones. But yeah, anyway, probably not going to be the case, because for now has got that long sword, and that leans to me that it's probably just going to be the lethality Varus to start us off. As the thing that Trouble hit on the desk is something that I am going to be concerned for the side of Granit, is they don't actually have any hard engage.
I mean, yeah, so Granit, it is going to come down to the way they can manipulate around the terrain. They will still have points in time where they're going to be able to find a good fight. Around objectives, the ball control with Muta, with his Orianna, is going to be really good. The equalizers, like, you can create a lot of terrain to kite back in, but that is mostly what you're going to be looking to do as well. Like, it's easy to kite back, and then as soon as they make a mistake, you disdain forward with the Urgot, you capitalize with the Shockwave, you get the Chompers down, but I mean, if they can get ahead, if they're just at a point where they are allowed to kite back, if they're just in a point where Trick just don't do any damage, it's not going to matter too much. Specifically, if they could just, wait out the first 2 Drakes. If Trick Esports is the one that's going to have the most priority in the early game, you just wait out the first 2 Drakes. As soon as that third one hits, start stacking your own. Yeah, if you get a late game, that's fine. You just need to take the W in the end. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting your way of looking at this team comp in the sense that it's not about finding just the big CC and that big kind of wombo combo. It's about controlling the spaces and the environments of the fight, and things like Dragon Pits and Baron Pits are terrifying into Rumble and Orianna. Pairing those up together, if you're inside that pit, doesn't matter how solid your engage is, your backline are just going to get popped.
And you can already see it here, the double range bot lane we get down here by Wixo, allowing them to go for this early cheater recall on the third wave, and they should just be able to get back and still be able to not lose anything. Paulson even getting visited here by Wixo as well.
Yeah, he's coming in looking for that potential tether, not going to quite get in range for it. Paulson is able to escape with his life, but does get chunked out, and this just gives Muta a little bit more control over the wave.
And this is just what you want, really. Like, this is really well played in the early game from Granit. You have a roam window where Bybor is just going back. You have a roam window where Wixo can go up and get alleviate some pressure in the mid lane. And now, Teko just punching
Madly, he's slowed down by the red buff and the harpoons, and that is going to be him taking a fair amount of damage. But Madly actually played that really, really well. Able to walk out without burning a single summoner spell.
Here's the thing, though. Madly's, he even crashed the wave, so Zero is farming right on the turret right now. It will be slow pushing back to him. He can TP if he wants to keep up the pressure, but he can also just walk. And meanwhile, this is happening. Taxer is actually able to double scuttle right now. He's getting a huge lead in the jungle by not being the one to gank first, but being the one to get the first priority onto these camps. When they're spawning, you can see he's already gone back here. He's already been able to go full clear, get the top scuttle, get back, get that scuttle, and now he's just full clearing again. And that's where he's probably going to be able to accelerate his level on Teko a bit. And when that happens, that's where we want to see Trick strike. That's where we want to see them go for these early game leads that we talked about so much they need to get.
Well, Teko is making his way down towards the bottom side. There is that cheeky wood in the alcove if Teko goes through there, but then there's a pretty big wave, and with no real way to actually go for a dive, they are just going to call it off. Teko just making sure they don't get ganked as they shove the wave in, and then probably look for either a dragon or a reset here, although the vision is very Granit favored in that area, so might be a little bit of a harder one for them to try and contest for now.
It's not only that, it's the fact that Paulson had to TP back to lane because Wixo came in with the Roam. That means Muta right now still does have that TP. He can just back TP in and gain instant pressure if they wanted to. You take a look onto the bot lane, pressure as well. But Taxer up in this top side now.
Spotted out by the control ward, but he is burning up and getting ready to come in close. Madly hops to him. There's the flash forward into the slow, into the follow-up with the Sonic Strike, and Zero is going to go down as Taxer secures first blood of NLC Summer.
And that's exactly what we talked about. This fast clear you get from the Udyr, the pace you have over Teko right now is what's allowing you to get up here. And Zero just not respecting that Udyr can clear so fast, easy for them to get up there. Even with a beautiful disdain and flash, he's not able to get out.
Madly just going to escort this wave towards the tower, has now got that level 6. Don't think he's going to be feeling any kind of fighting right now, just wants to make sure this wave does crash. As Teko is here. Teko no level 6. Zero has now got the Fear Beyond Death, so Harpoon's available, and Madly maybe overstaying his welcome a little bit here. Able to dodge away, and one of the slows gets a good kick off, but Zero able to purge through it as he throws out the Fear Beyond Death. Madly sidesteps it beautifully and gets away.
And honestly, he should die there. That is an overstep. If anything, Taxer should have helped and crashed that wave so you get a safe back. You have that teleport, nothing to worry about. But he decides to overstays it. But because he's got this mechanical outplay, he just loses nothing. Gets the crash, get out of there, just burns even the Fear Beyond Death. So that means that there's not a lot of kill pressure from Urgot in lane as soon as he gets back. And with Teko being up in that top side trying to make that gank work, Taxer, once again with the tempo, is just under Drake, getting the objective for his teams, and the Scuttle as a little extra objective at the same time.
And another thing to note as well was Madly actually held his teleport, was going to walk back up to the wave as Zero is slowly working it up, but Madly actually now making his way down towards the bottom side of the map as they are going for a lane swap with Voxy. They've taken the dragon. There's nothing really for them to gain other than plates in the bot lane, so turn that into a different objective, something that will guarantee you those plates in the Rift Herald.
It's not going to give you too much tempo towards the Rift Herald yet. It is still spawning in 30 seconds. As soon as Granit Gaming sees this lane swap has come through, they will have time to crash themselves. Right now in the river, there's a lot of vision. That Trick is going to be using their time to clear out as well. But Paulson and Lucky, they're looking to gain some pressure around this mid lane. Maybe so they can in there and get ready to counter jungle, clear this vision away for the team.
That was a bit of a weird carpet by Teko. They're going to crash the wave into the bot side. They're probably just going to look to trade Rift Herald for some plates here. Vaporroid's going to be able to pick up most of these plates solo as well, so it's a bit of gold injected into the Jinx. And remember, Granit do have scaling. They've got the Orianna, they've got the Jinx, they've got some really, really nice late game. So just getting this solo farm, solo experience, and solo plate gold into Vaporroid going to be really, really big for them now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This is how it should go. We talked about it. The early game should be in the favor of Tricked here, but when you commit to play bottom, you need to be able to, for your weak side, to get dive top.
Well, there's the chains as Madly's going to go in for the kick. They just CC chain Zero down. That's the second kill for the side of Tricked.
And not even that. Rift Herald has just been taking, so they'll be able to inject a lot of gold into Den right here. Granted, though, it will be shared with 4 members here, so not the best injection of a carry, let's say. While down in this bottom side, you can see Bybor, he's just getting all this plating for himself, essentially getting a turret for himself. Like, he might even be able to get this, and that's lovely news for Granit. Yes, Zero dies off in that top side, yes,
Wait,
they get the first tower, but Bybor here will be able to retaliate and get a turret of his own afterwards.
That was incredibly close, but the difference is Jinx got 5 plates and the tower solo. If we could quickly toggle gold, perfect. It's actually a 100 gold lead to the Jinx right now. Nasty.
And that is with a kill in favor of them as well. Bybor not been able to do anything so far. And to put some characters of some of our players here, Bybor came from the T-League Esports Series Denmark, so he's been a player I've been lucky to cast for a very long time at this point, and this has been the style for him here. He needs to be the carry. He's the one that you just wait, let him be even in the mid game, early to mid game, and then all of a sudden in the late game, he's just gonna absolutely explode, and he's gonna be the guy you want to play for. And that's kind of what worries me here. It's the fact that Trick, yes, you are doing everything you need to do right now, but still, I feel that linger in the back of my mind that they can't drop the ball. They're doing really well right now, Trick, but they can't drop the ball.
Well, Baverall just trying to pick up as much gold as possible. Just constantly solo farming and still the same level as Denvoxney. So Denvoxney has been able to keep relevant in the CS, in the experience department. Den obviously now all alone in the bot lane, so being able to pick up some solo experience for himself and maybe a plate or two now. But Madly is shadowing him here with Lucky as well. So a couple of people making sure that Denvoxney is going to be able to get away with this.
And it's not only that, it's the fact that Taxa just took all of Teko's jungle. You look at the Visher, you look at the control. Zero can't do anything. He's doing what he needs to do right now. He's backing off. Bybor once again getting gold on the other side of the map, but they keep trading it. Trick, they keep being proactive here. We like to see it.
I like to see some Granit though as well, because scaling. We said scaling, and they're going to be quite okay to do this. As Paulson getting jumped onto, but does have himself the dash over the wall, so he'll be fine. Then Voxy able to pick up this tower. The plates won't have fallen off yet, as we are only 11 minutes in. So it's going to be a lot of gold injected into him, as Adney has to be quite careful, though he is looking to jump in onto the support. The chain is going to force him to flash, but there is a beautiful carpet. Madly, slowly but surely taken out, and Teko secures the kill. Meanwhile, the Jinx able to farm up some plates and get the tower. So Zero flashes over the wall, tries to find the turnaround, but Taxa will cook him with the Phoenix stance.
But it's like he could put up a mirror here. These two teams are just mirroring each other right now. Up in the top side, they dive, they get the kill, they get the turret. Down in the bot side, they dive, they get the kill, they get the turret. Like, they are just responding blow for blow and mimicking each other completely here right now.
Well, we get a replay of the play down in the top side. Madly thought he got away, but that equalizer just perfectly lined up.
Honestly, just a bit disrespectful. Beforehand, we saw Hess Zero just completely backed off. Yeah, he gets caught in the jungle afterwards, but he backed off the turret, which is what he needs to do. Madly decided to stay a bit longer and was punished for it. Loses the flash, dies anyway.
Well, now it looks like the AD carries will finally meet up with each other for the first time in a while. The Tricks are looking to pick up this dragon. Tax is going to start it up. There is no response here from Granit. Going to give up the second Drake over to the side of Tricks, and we'll see whether or not we're going to have a Cloud Soul or an Ocean Soul in this first game of the split.
I mean, you'd love an Ocean Soul if you're Granit Gaming here coming in clutch, because as I said, you can just stack armor. The harder the time they're going to be having killing you, it's going to be even harder now if they can regen it back up during this fight. But here's the thing, though. Every time Trick is getting an objective, they're getting all of Granit Gaming's jungle at the same time. Mutsu needs to be careful here because they are lurking around the corner.
It looks like they're coming in for a dive behind him. He doesn't have the backup available. Only a teleport from his top laner. The wave's going to die out, but that is going to be one Orianna who is just CC'd too long. Tries to flash away, and the shockwave will connect to Paulson. Paulson's going to go down. The outplay from Mutsu. 1 versus 3. Trades 1 for 1.
And you don't want to see that as Trick. That should have been a clear dive, but Paulson ends up tanking the tower, gets caught by the shockwave. And yes, Lucky does get the kill in the end, but that's not worth it at all.
I mean, you can see the armor stacking already coming in as well. Muta's got the Seeker's Arm Guard, so giving a bit more survivability. Granit takes opportunity to not only trade a kill for kill there, they're going to be able to take this tower in the top side. So that's a tier 2 tower crumbling as well. As Granit extend themselves a 1 tower lead over Trickton. The gold lead is close. The gold is very, very close here. We're just going to have a little look at this dive once again.
This would have been so good if he just kept it, like, probably dive to attack side. I think he ends up running out. He's too scared of the aggro he's going to be taking, and could have been tanking one more, but actually drops it too early. He drops it on half HP, so Taxa there actually slipping up pretty bad for his team.
Yeah, a bit of a misposition there from Taxa. He took barely any damage from that first hit as well. He had the armor to be able to tank a couple of tower shots, and ultimately his misstep will cost Paulson's life.
Not only that, he also stacked the tower damage. Like, he tanked the 2 first, and then Paulson just gets that third. It took almost all his HP, and there's nothing to do. Right? It's literally just, guess I'll die when that situation happens.
Unlucky. Right, well, Taxa is going to start up the Rift Herald. Pick that one up for himself as we're approaching the 15-minute mark, and we can see there is a slight CS lead growing in the mid lane. Top side in favor of his Zero. And the AD carries are pretty equal right now, although there are now 2 items onto Babero. He's got the Runan's Hurricane and that Kraken Slayer finished up. So a lot of wave clear and obviously a lot of team fighting capabilities from these Jinx off these 2 items. It looks like for now, Trickter may be looking to make a little play onto his Zero in the top lane. Curious to see if they're actually going to be able to take him out though.
Yeah, and maybe they're not feeling too hot going for a tower dive if what happened last time around. Equalizer actually comes down in this bottom to clear out the minion wave so they can continue going on this tower. And once again, they're just mimicking each other. But Trick, they do have a Herald, and with 2 members in bot side, 1 in the top side, and only 1 in the mid, Bybro making his way from a very awkward path. There should be a second charge as well.
Well, Babro going a very aggressive way in. Is going to be able to turn up and save the day as his Zero gets eaten up by the culling, throws out the Fear Beyond Death, but Paulson will take him down before he's able to do anything. No equalizer. Teka not even close. There's just going to be a tower and a charge traded for the tower. But they do get the free time on this mid lane, and Babro has a fair amount of attack speed, so may be able to take this, but is just going to back off.
Yeah, they don't have any vision across their top side right now. You can see the 3 pink wards for Trick right here. They don't dare step up. They have no idea what the enemies are. They see them because they started clearing the wave, but before that, it was too scary to walk up and hit this turret. And arguably so, we have 1 minute for the Ocean Drake to respawn here, and this is the Drake where Granit Gaming needs to respond back. It's going to be too much pressure if you give up Trick Soul Point. This is where you need to strike back. This is where you need to play for Bybro. He's got 2 items on the Jinx. All summoner spells are up right now, and you need the pressure to be ready so you can get in, get the vision around the Drake, and make it easier for yourself. We talked about this terrain. This is how we need them to play it. You don't even mind if Trick started up. If they start it, you drop the Equalizer on them. They take some damage. They want to come up and fight you. You got the Shockwave ready. And for Trick Esports, you need to be ready with some of that Snap Engage. You got the Varus ultimate. You got the Lee Sin kick. And Rakan ultimate is almost up. It is going to be up for that Drake. So this is the fight we're looking for. This could be game deciding already 17 minutes into the game.
Well, then just landing a little bit of poke, got that Prattler's Claw and almost the Manamune finished up. Actually, it's a fair way from being finished up. 222 stacks, takes a little bit more. Luden's Echo has now been finished up onto Muta. His 0-0-4 hasn't really had the greatest time of it. Hasn't quite finished up his item, just got that whip and the Kindle Gem. As Wixo will eat that piercing arrow from Demboxney. Does a fair amount of damage. Madly looking to potentially come in on a flank here.
Pressure right now in favor of Granit. They're doing both things at the same time. They're taking blue buff, and quite honestly, Granit is just not in a position to go up and contest this one. Equalizer comes out for the blue buff, and that's all you're gonna get.
That's it. That is not a great scenario right now for Granit, and this is now tricked 1 off that Ocean Soul. Gonna be really, really nice for them if they can pick it up.
Yeah, but once again, the setup was there for Tricked as well. They have the bot wave pushing in. There's no way for Granit Gaming to get in there. Mid wave was pushed in first by Trick. They had the vision control in. Granit Gaming not ready to pull the trigger yet, but they will still have a chance to do so. Like, Jinx on 3 items is always better than 2 items, specifically because you can get that Infinity Edge and just amplify those crits, which is what you're really looking for, honestly. But at the same time here, you gotta be scared by the tempo Trick has been able to put onto this game. They're 2k ahead right now, almost 2k. And they keep getting in, stealing the camps. There's not going to be a lot of map plays you can make as Granit Gaming anymore, because there's honestly not a lot of turrets back left. This is where the game begins to get hard. the macro starts to get in.
Teko finds Taxa, but Taxa just sprints at him and sends him back into his own jungle. Actually, Taxa's going to join him. He's coming in with a bear stance, although the Orianna's enough to scare him off. It's an interesting game from Granit because they played very passively at the beginning, and I think that was absolutely the right thing to do. They avoided getting anywhere near Tricked, and they just trade objectives, and that has kept them relevant. That means that Babero's been in a pretty good spot here on this Jinx. Like you said, once that third item comes in, objectively really, really strong versus the likes of Denvoxney. If he can get into closer range with him, he can hit him with the rockets. But it felt like that was their moment to fight at the last dragon. They decided not to, decided to kind of give up a lot, and now Muta getting jumped onto. Paulson almost just chunks him. What was that?
That's just a solo kill right up there for the Danish mid laner. Dane against Dane there. Paulson really showing up there. And we've talked about champions just, you know, sitting back, not doing much scaling, but at the same time, Paulson was able to do that on this Lucian, and you cannot underestimate him in a side lane, and that does make the situation a bit harder. And Jake, I want to take it back. You talked a bit about it, like it felt like it was the moment, but you see it often in teams, specifically when starting out as well, when the game plan is, we need to chill. We are the late game team. We can relax. We don't need to do much. And sometimes you tell yourself that too much, and you end up in a situation where you just never pulled the trigger and wasn't able to pull the game. But I win the game. I won't say that's what Granit has been doing here, because they have been making a lot of good map rotations, but when it comes to these skirmishes, when it comes to being first of the objective, Tricked has just been better at doing that, and you cannot allow yourself to be caught by that in the next 2 minutes when Ocean Soul will be spawning for Tricked.
Right, looking for something here, although the Chains of Corruption by Denvoxney landed onto, I think it was Wixo. That was enough just to cool them off, as they, again, lacking any real hard CC, meaning they couldn't really actually follow up or chase any further. And Tricked are able to get away with it. Like you said, minute 45 until the Ocean Soul comes up. That is when we're going to start to see some action. Granit can't give over this dragon. They have to pick it up. His Zero now got the Stride Breaker finished up, so has got that kind of big slow to work with and a slight dash on top of obviously the Disdain dash. But we are now looking at Denvoxney, who has finished up the Serpent's Fang. Mana Minute is almost fully stacked into the Mirror Mana. Got the Prowler's Claw. Essence Reaver was just finished up for Paulson on the back of this base. You've got Randuin's Omen and the Frozen Fist onto Taxa. The items are starting to come in for Tricked. And while we talked about the scaling of Granit, Tricked in general are not on a weak spot right now. It's not like they've been outscaled yet. And they are very, very strong. That Serpent's Fang can do a lot of work versus the Karma. And it looks like Tricked are potentially looking to see if they can try out their damage now, as Taxa just playing a little bit of bait as the wave is going to get caught. Here comes the teleport. They're looking for the fight. Tricked are going to go in as Lucky has got that quickness. He's going to break the tether. And here comes Madly over the wall with the kick. A massive knock-up as Lucky sliced in. Charms the whole team. Denvoxney throws out the chains. It's going to go wide, but Paulson's able to just put a massive culling off. Dodges away from the shockwave, and Teko is just about able to flash away to safety. But here comes Taxa. Here comes the rest of Tricked as Paulson just mops up a double kill. 3 members of Granit remain, and Denvoxney is hot on the hunt with the Prowler's Claw. His Zero so low, but not going to go down today. And Tricked take the team fight.
Oh, and the fact that Paulson dodges that shockwave is so crucial. Madly, even getting that sick kick despite him dying, and then the follow-up from Lucky with that Rakan ultimate. That was just a perfect setup for Tricked, and they will get the Ocean Soul now. This game is starting to look really dire for Granit Gaming, despite them being where their composition should be thriving.
I mean, we can see the fight once again. Lucky basically baits out the tether by pretending to go for the quickness, and he just waits for Madly to set him up. Beautifully engaged, beautiful fight.
Yeah, I mean, Byboy, you gotta credit him for actually having the cleanse ready and flashing before the knockup could come through, but as soon as Muta's shockwave is missed, that's just a signal to the rest of Tricked. We can go forward, we can do whatever we want right now, because quite frankly, there's not much gas left in the tank for Granit.
Looks like now with that Ocean Soul in the pocket of Tricked, they are looking towards the next neutral objective, that is that Baron. Trying to contest the vision, and oh my lord, Denvoxney.
Why?
Okay.
See you?
That is a lot of damage.
Yeah, you think so? Wow. I felt that from here, man. Vibro just losing half his HP. That is a lot of lethality. And we talk about, you know, Trick being a full AD composition, but Vibro doesn't really have much armor. And even on the side of Teko, haven't even finished that Seeker's arm guard yet. Muta is only sitting on a Seeker's. Hezero hasn't even gotten any armor yet, so... Oh my... Stop, Den, please. Please, stop. Don't do this to them.
Yeah, family stem, Voxney. Not like this. Oh, that was a shield. Serpent's Fang, baby.
I mean, this is just
okay, that is
target
actually
practice.
so nasty.
Yeah, it is. That's just target practice for them. What a joy to watch. You can see they're already forced to recall. Yeah, they're not starting up the Baron again, so they should have some time to do it. But when you get back here again, when Tricked Up starts this Baron for the second time, when they have the vision around it, and you have to be worried about a Varus arrow taking half of your HP, it's going to get really dire to get in here. Very optimistic ultimate is not going to do it, and they should just go over to Trick.
Yeah, Lucky's stopping them as they do throw out the ultimate from Teko. Lucky just jumps over the wall. The Fear Beyond Death is thrown out as well, and Granit just got poked at too hard, had to reset, and that just gave a window over to Tricked.
Yeah, Equalizer came down, and I mean, I think we should take it back to what Trouble said on the Analyst Disc as well. I talked about how you got some ways to fight around the terrain, but they've not really been able to do that. So not having that snap engaged right now as Granit is making it really hard for them to just start the fight on their terms.
It's really, really hard for them. You've got that free items on the Jinx. You feel like you're in a pretty good spot to go for these fights. Shirelia's there to give the speed ups, but there's just nothing to really lock Trick down. And then Voxley, all he needs to do is throw out a Chain of Corruption as you all charge forwards, and that just completely shuts it down.
Yeah, and it's going to get really dire here. We are going to get into a siege position here where varied up minions will be crashing down onto this turret, and that's just a comfort zone for the Voxness Varos here. He can just arrow them down, just keep this target practice going for him when they're under their tower. So what we want to see for them right now, Trick, see how much map pressure you can get rid of all the turrets, get some inhibitors, and potentially get ready for this Elder Drake. The more pressure you can have for it, the better. Or even better, just fight that fight now with a Chain of Corruption. As the 1-3-1 has come out here, you can see Trick, or Granit rather, they're feeling desperate. They want to start a fight, but it's not working. Side lanes for Trick right now are just getting all the pressure they need. And as soon as they back off in mid lane on the side of Granit, Trick is putting on back the pressure. It's a really beautiful 1-3-1 we're seeing from them right here.
Just feels like there's no real answer. Teko wants to go hold the top side, but he can't. The wave's massive as well. It's not really going to do too much to that, as the final tower outside of Granit's base has now collapsed to Poulsen, and Poulsen has a massive wave to work with. So Muta going to try his best to take this out, but Poulsen just able to slowly but surely take down this tower little by little, and that will be going down. The first open inhibitor here, as the second one will be quick to follow in the mid lane. And Madly just holding the wave here on the top side. Granit are running out of options. They're running out of space to go. They're being pushed further and further into the corner of the map.
I mean, it's tough. You can still give some of this, but even if a fight breaks out, I don't like the chances I'm seeing right now from Granit. I mean, specifically when Dennis just tearing you up before you think the fight has even started. Chains of Corruption did miss there, so no chains.
Their opportunity, but Teko was silenced. He was overheated. He couldn't throw out the equalizer to even find that potential slow. And now Madly looking to take down the third and final inhibitor, and it's just going to feel so impossible as Teko loses a lot of health. They do get a root off as Poulsen goes gold as the Fear Beyond Death goes wide. Loads of ultimates used, and they just go wide as Lucky jumps away to safety as Poulsen's able to clop in on, get himself the kill. Now Taxa looking for another one as Wixo just loses so much health as Poulsen's doing a lot of work. Baybraw now jumped onto Madly, able to take him out as then Voxney finishes up with one last arrow, and his zero gonna get slided onto. Poulsen takes him down. Muta and Wixo, the only two standing. It is a clinically clean game by Tricked to open us here on the NLC as they go for a glory kill. 28 minutes on the clock. That is one dead Nexus. Tricked take the first game.
You Tricked back in action. Obviously, Poulsen coming up huge on this Lucian as well. You gotta credit them for that. But Granit Gaming, with this new roster coming in, they had some good macro decisions. You gotta give them credit for that. They were mimicking pretty well and trading cross map really well with Tricked. But problem came down to the tempo in the jungle. Taxa was able to get the jungle cleared before Teko could ever be available. And that meant they had the first push around the objectives, around starting these turrets. And that made it really hard for them, as they never really felt like they could come up and, contest these objectives.
Yeah, honestly, it was. I actually think the early game from Granit was really good. I think they recognized that they just weren't going to win early, and let's be real, they weren't. That team was made, like you said, to kind of start contesting from third dragon onwards, and they were doing stuff early. Like when a dragon went down, they would take a tower. They would do if a dive happened, they would take some plates or a tower or even a kill in return. They were doing stuff right, but then when that third dragon came up, they got cold feet, and then from there, it looked like they never really recovered from those cold feet. And ultimately, that was Trick just going, okay, we can take everything at this point. And they did. Fantastic game there for Trick as they open us on our first win here of the NLC. But for now, it's time for a break. And when we're back, we'll have our analyst test to break that game down. So we'll see you in a moment.
Wonder if I only knew
Welcome back. Looked like a very comfortable game for Tricked here. They did need to accelerate. They did need to take over the mid game, and they were able to do so. Obviously, good performances from Denvoxy and Paulson, especially had some really good individual moments that game. Now, I think, obviously, there were... I heard you saying, Orcs, there was points where it felt like actually we saw some good stuff out of Granit. They maybe could have found their way to the late game, but it definitely felt like Tricked kind of were able to punch back every single time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the early game in particular, there was a lot of trading across the map, which initially looked pretty good for Granit. We saw Babel getting pretty fed on the Jinx, getting a lot of plates, 2 full towers worth of plates going in his pocket. The problem is it came to this mid game, and there was something significant lacking for the composition of Granit. They didn't have the engage tools, as Trouble was highlighting going into the game, and they didn't have the agency. So it really came down to Trick setting the pace of the game and allow them just to continue to ramp things up and not give any space over to Granit.
What I really liked about Tricked is the fact that we mentioned how Granit would outscale them eventually. They had the Orianna, they had the Urgot, they had the Jinx. These Giga scaling champions, fair enough, yes. But if you don't have a go button, you're constantly forced to sort of kite backwards into a choke point. And it's fair enough. If it's a choke point, Jinx and Rumble can do a great job at destroying a team fight. But I feel like Trick played very slow, calm, and collected. They knew they had the winning mid with the Lucian. Then they could position him wherever they wanted. Lucian scales pretty well as well. And they used the Lee Sin in very open spaces where they could actually fight and not get decimated by a shockwave, by a Rumble ultimate. So I really like the fact that Trick didn't necessarily stress themselves into let's win early because they outscale us. They just knew that their composition was superior. They had the engage and they had the disengage, whilst all Granit had to do was just kite back, and that just did not help them much.
Yeah, they didn't quite manage to make it work. Now, we have our first interview of the NLC summer split here. Den Voxney will be joining us from Tricked. And obviously, we have a little bit of a change here, Den Voxney. I don't know if you've done an interview with us before. It used to be just me talking, but now we have everybody here to talk to you. You get the special 3-person interview to kick things off. I'm going to open things up. Obviously, coming into Tricked, you guys have got a good-looking roster coming into this split, but specifically, you're back playing with Paulson. How does it feel playing with Paulson again on the same roster?
It's good. Last time we played together, we obviously did quite well here in the Nordic scene, and we're just looking to replicate that again. And also shout out to our coach Vendetto, who was also the coach back on Vipers. So it's gonna be a good split for sure.
You guys looking fantastic, and it was a good early start. Now I'm going to bring in, for the first time ever, someone else gets to ask a question in an interview. Orcs jumping in with a little question here for Denvoxy.
Yeah, so I personally think the AD carry is one of the most stacked roles in this split of the NLC. In your opinion, who would you say is like the strongest AD carry, and is there any that you think are maybe a bit overrated?
I will agree with you that there are a lot of good ADCs, but I would probably not agree with you that there are a lot of like really good or like insane or whatever, like the tier above. I think a lot of people are to be respected. I think Babor, even though he's playing on Granit, maybe not gonna play for the number 1 seed, but like he's good. I think Archu, Rai, Crisper, like Dragdar, like there are a lot of not Rai, I meant Gubi. There are a lot of good AD carries, but I'm not like afraid of them. I don't think they're the most insane in the league, and I think I can perform better. So that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna show.
What do you guys think your strongest way to play the game is? Because it felt like you went into this game with a very set mind, as in, yes, we do scale better in the early, and yes, they outscale us in the late, but they have no engage, so we can do whatever the heck we want throughout the entire game. And you took the early game very slow, calm, and collected, whilst we were expecting, to try and snowball that. What was the thought process going into this one?
Well, like, I think we got a lot of OP picks. I think no engage versus Varus is like maybe not the best. I think he's probably, you've seen for quite some time now, he's quite strong. I think just in general, we just like played a calm, collected game, like tried to punish their like mistakes. I think we did a few mistakes ourselves, which made the game a lot slower than it could have been. But like overall, like just don't try and make anything crazy happen on the first day. Like, we don't know how good they are. We have never obviously seen them play and stuff. So all their drafts. So just pick strong champions, take it slow, and then we'll probably win with our good decision making.
Yeah, and you did win Denvox today, so congratulations. First win of the NLC. Nice to get that one on the board for Tricks, and of course with the new format, with only top 3 from each group going through, every single win counts, so you're off to a good start. So anyway, thanks for chatting to us, mate. I'm sure we'll get to chat to you more throughout the split, but thank you for doing our very first interview here on Summer.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, as always.
As always, mate. As always. Okay. Very quickly, then, we are going to do a little breakdown of a play that game. Orcs, is Orcs you running this? Are you running this show, mate?
Yep. This one's mine. So, I think this play was really the turning point where Trick was showing they were in control of the game. They were accelerating the pace. As it starts to play out, you can see this TP flank comes in, and the initial engage, it looks fancy. We can see this kick comes in here, connected with all the members, and then we have this play coming out from the Rakan where everyone's grouped up here. The critical thing is that there's not really that much in range in terms of, like, you can see a Varus arrow being charged up here, but Paulson's way over there. There's not really too much threat on this. And actually, the disengage comes out from Granit. So we see a couple of flashes come in. They're able to make some distance. They do lose the rumble. And, like, typically when I saw this play, I was thinking, potentially this could be a good position for them. But as we watch how it plays out, they just cannot answer the Varus and the Lucian. And you see constantly the position of the backline coming in, where they're playing so far back. And you can watch Denvox, and he finds an arrow there, connects on 2 members. Olsen finds the space to move in. And this entire fight, Granit are just running away. They never have a position where Baby Roar can actually auto-attack anyone and get some damage down. And I think really this is the problem where, in theory, we have this strong front-to-back team fighting composition. Because they can't do anything to the Varus, they don't even get to play that style. It's just, poke comes in, poke comes in, poke comes in. And I don't even think Jinx got many autos at all out in that fight.
Yeah, and Devoxy said, like picking no engage versus Varus. You guys touched on it on the desk as well. No engage comps right now are not particularly strong. Like, you need to have that agency to decide when and where you want to fight. And also, as we saw, threaten people like Devoxy on the Varus and the back lines, which unfortunately, I think if you were a Granit in that game, you were waiting for a mistake in a team fight. You were waiting for an opportunity to kite back and find another angle back in, but that never really happened. Guys, we've got the first game under our belts. We have got more to come. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll see you soon.